Tell us how retirement's going for you.
Well, I've been retired for about 2 years now, and I've transitioned into doing just a lot of coaching. I'm one of the main coaches for American Top Team now, so I can't complain. Life has been good for me. I get to work with high-level athletes on the main stage. I still get to come to the shows and be a part of this game. So I'm really happy about that, and you know, I just continue to keep moving forward and stay relevant in this game, and be able to see my contemporaries do big things like BJ getting inducted into the Hall of Fame.
If one thing, what would you change about MMA?
If there was one thing I would change about MMA, it would. Wow, that's a tough question. You know, there's a lot of things that possibly are wrong. I would say maybe a more uniform judging system. I would say the judging system is a little flawed. I think takedowns weigh a little too much weight, and you know, especially when a guy doesn't do anything. I don't want to get into the specifics of it, but I would say the judging system and the way they score fights should be altered.
What about a fighter union? What do you think about that?
I've always believed that the fighters needed a union. I put a couple tweets out every so often, but I ain't got no blue name, so like ain't nobody really giving my tweets any love. But I put a couple tweets out to, you know, maybe start some type of union for the fighters. But and I think it's needed. I think we need to be able to stick together, because you know, if we stick together, you know, we can demand more, and we can have some say in what goes on with our lives.
As far as fighter pay goes, do you think it's enough for the entry level right now? Is really enough to be able to put in a full camp and make it worthwhile?
The fighter pay is also an issue, but you know what, the thing is, you know, this is the lifestyle that we choose, and the entry level to get into the UFC is still probably, you know, 10 times better than what most guys were getting before. It's like, you know, when you're coming up as a fighter and you're fighting in regional shows, you get such a small amount that, you know, you can either go towards the direction of the UFC or maybe some of the other shows that aren't as big as the UFC, but that kind of excludes you out of the UFC. And they may pay you relatively the same, but being with the UFC, it just gives you a little bit more opportunity. So to say that the entry level is a bad thing, I don't necessarily want to say that, because of what they were getting prior to getting into the UFC, but you know, it may need some work.